Moving on, as you'll see by this title, you might not know what the first part of it is, what 8chan is. But as it says, it's the site used, or allegedly used, by New Zealand terrorists to spread hate. I'm pretty sure most of you will know what I'm talking about here. The latest shooting in Christchurch, mass shooting. I believe 50 people dead now. The guy is looking at 50 murder charges, and I believe something like 38 of attempted murder as well. Not quite sure how that works out, but the reason I'm using this news story here is because it focuses more on this 8chan and something else called 4chan and how it originated. I believe it goes into something called 2chan as well. Let's just get into this, okay? So it says the image board behind the spread of the terror attacker's message and video has a long and controversial history. As you can see, this is not long ago at all. It's literally half a month ago. But let's get into this. Shortly before the mass shootings at two mosques in the New Zealand city of Christchurch, the gunman posted a link on 8chan to the Facebook page where he would live stream his attack. A man in his 20s has been charged with murder following the shootings at the Al Noor Mosque in central Christchurch and then the nearby Linwood Mosque. Posting to 8chan, he wrote, "The Facebook link is below. By the time you read this, I shall be going live." He encouraged users to spread his message. Within minutes, users were applauding the gunman and sharing the link, while others said that sharing the information could land 8chan in trouble. I believe that's a picture of the fella who carried out these attacks, and it says the Christchurch terror attack suspect calls himself Brenton Tarrant in his social media posts. This is obviously YouTube trying to get them videos taken down, because this guy went out of the camera and obviously, as it just said before, broadcasted live on Facebook and started killing people. So obviously YouTube don't want that on their platform, and they've obviously put out a message here saying that they're working vigilantly to remove any violent footage from their platform. So, what is 8chan, as a question poses here? It's an image board, a type of internet forum in which people primarily discuss topics using images attached to each of their posts rather than just text, which contains explicit and offensive material. It is unaffiliated with the infamous image board 4chan, although it shares the same culture of anonymity and format of image posting. In practice, its different boards focus on different topics, including video games and Japanese animation, also known as anime. They each feature a wide range of anonymous contributions and discussions, but those on its politically incorrect board prominently include hate speech and anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, as well as an abundance of slurs towards minority ethnic and sexual groups. Now, I believe one of the people shown in the first instalment of this documentary at the end, whose deleted video I had to put up, Titus Frost, yes, that guy's very anti-Semitic, and has an abundance of slurs towards ethnic people as well. I've heard him getting on at the Muslims, etc., etc. But anyway, 8chan features discussions of alleged Muslims' reactions, inciting racial hatred with unsourced images purporting to show a Muslim social media account reacting to the shooting by declaring war. Another thread alleges that the shooting was conducted as part of a Jewish conspiracy, and others referencing a far-right party being elected in a local election in Spain. It has been the subject of numerous scandals, including hostile child abuse material, involvement in the harassment of female game developers during Gamergate, and for its involvement in so-called swatting attacks. where people make false reports to police in order for them to be targeted by SWAT teams. Yeah, I've heard this all before, unfortunately. This here is a screenshot of a discussion on, it's to do with Brent and Tarrant video shooting, live stream recording, obviously all blurred out and stuff, but it says here, what is it used for? It's 8chan. Now it says image boards have historically been used to discuss anime, originating within the 2chan image board founded in 2001, which I've never heard of. But anyway, however, the lack of moderation on English language site 4chan meant that they developed a particular kind of lawless culture, and historically were where many internet memes originated. Which, yeah, I've heard of that. However, in recent years they have become exceptionally controversial, particularly due to harassment campaigns and alleged raiding activities carried out by the alt-right. Now, this goes on to explain this right-wing extremism part of it. The most popular board on 8chan is the politically incorrect board. Although other boards exist discussing video games, anime and pornography, the role of the politically incorrect board on both 8chan and 4chan has been the subject of much scrutiny by academics. Speaking to Sky News in 2017, one academic researcher who had analysed the role of the so-called politically incorrect boards in online hate speech said that they had significant effects on attacks on other websites. Were there connections to violence? The site claims to have one global rule that users do not post, request or link to any content that is illegal in the United States of America, and do not create boards with the purpose of posting or spreading such content. This means that much of the content is protected by US free speech laws, although it could be considered illegal in other jurisdictions such as the UK. Now, Nathan Stoltman comes to mind, pushing the Hampstead hoax, and e-beggar Thomas Dunn from the channel Through the Black, who both still have videos up of the Hampstead hoax, child abuse hoax basically, SRA child abuse hoax from the UK. They have pictures of the children up, they have the children's interviews, which are illegal in the UK, yet covered by freedom of speech laws in the US. So yes, we have heard of this stuff before, it does go on, and them videos are still up on them channels if anyone wants to report them. Finishing the article off is this, among the most contentious areas of debate of US law, or what actually constitutes incitement to violence. In the hundreds of messages posted about the shooting, many express respect and apparent endorsement of the terror attack with Nazi imagery and anti-Semitic language. What nice people. You know, there is a big issue with this, very, very big issue, especially in the US. Now, I'm not getting on at anyone from America at all because I like the country. You know, I've actually met some very, very nice American people, as well as other people from other parts of the country as well. But their freedom of speech laws, I do get the feeling that a lot of these, especially these so-called truthers, you know, they rely on these freedom of speech laws to be able to show things online that are illegal. Like I said before about the Hampstead hoax, there's quite a few people involved in that now. There's someone called Terry Joyce as well. Like I said before, Nathan Stoltman, Thomas Dunn from Through the Black. And they're not actually incitements to violence, but they are ways that them certain set of truthers will manipulate US freedom of speech laws. But incitements to violence, that reminds me of the first part of this series with that guy Titus Frost. Well, that's his stage name, Dean Fougere. You know, it shows the full video that he deleted from his channel, where he ends up losing his mind over the Tucson case and tells people to go down and shoot child traffickers, which weren't there. So that is incitement to violence. That video is always going to be kept for a time in the future where these laws may change. But yeah, something's got to be done about it. It's outrageous. It's, you know, we all want to come online and learn things, should I say. But what people are basically being taught, and not even taught really, they're just being indoctrinated with ridiculous conspiracy theories, especially QAnon, which doesn't seem that there's any involvement of Q in this particular story. But obviously there was in the one before with the Camello fellow who killed the mob boss, Bucky Wolf, and Lane Davis, I believe, who was saying that his parents were pedophiles before he ended up killing his dad. Because of the QAnon theory that all the Democrats are pedophiles. You know, I just see this all the time on Twitter. Oh, look, a pedophile, well, it must be a Democrat. You know, it's ludicrous, ridiculous, and, you know, very vulnerable people with the onsets of early mental illness, as was discovered in the first instalment of this series of Lane Davis and Bucky Wolf. You know, things can go seriously wrong, fatally wrong. And the one thing in common that all these people do have, apart from the people that they've killed and the families they've destroyed, including their own, they're also going to be spending many, many, many years behind bars, have lost their freedom. I mean, this guy probably will never get out, this guy that's allegedly killed these 50 Muslims in these mosques, which is outrageous. You know, what are these people reading? What are they indoctrinating themselves with? That they're willing to go out and just gun down people or kill family members. You know, we all get a bit angry sometimes, and politics itself will make a lot of people angry because it's just the way it is. The left-right paradigm, it's right against left. You know, it's insult for insult, slur for slur, smear for smear, whatever you want to call it, and it's constant war between the sets of supporters. You know, you've seen it with the MAGA movement in America and the Democrats. We see it in my country, the UK, between the Brexit and the Remainers. Something to ponder. It's why I don't do politics at all. And they're not very nice making these videos, as you know, the first one I made was not very nice either. But I'm just putting it out there to show people to be aware of what you're indoctrinating yourself with. Corners of the internet, the pockets of the internet that you're hanging out in, soaking up the info. You know, especially a lot of these so-called truthers who, in my opinion, it's an insult to be called a truther nowadays. Anyway, see you later, everybody.